Father.
Father Philip,
Nice
welcome
meet you.
to our little presentation here.
I'm glad to be with you, thank you.
Father Philipp Steiner is a local boy, just I think south of here.
Yes.
What's the name of your town in Switzerland?
Brunnen on the shore of Lake Lucerne.
And so you finished high school. When did you join the Benedictines?
I joined the monastery in 2007.
2007, so that's now 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And you're ordained a priest?
Yes, I am.
Uh-huh. And how long are you a priest?
I was ordained 2014.
You know, Father Philip, it's just great here in Switzerland, the incredible treasures and riches culturally and technologically, and of course nature for starters, that we have seen in our vacation. And yesterday we had the pleasure of being in the National Transport Museum in Lucerne, and it was amazing to see all the old train engines and the first efforts at flight and the first efforts at space exploration and all the other technologies of transport. And it was overwhelming to see how much everybody contributed. Sometimes there were big names that are remembered in history, but there were lots of other people that were in the background making things happen, and it was all building up. And today we have transport. We could fly here from the Holy Land for, I don't know what it was, less than $100, you know. So that's because everything is growing and we're all building on each other. And when we come into a place like this, you know, I couldn't explain this beautiful church here at Einsiedeln in the monastery. I could just show them the pictures, but I really wasn't well enough equipped to explain it, and that's why I'm so grateful that you have come to help us to understand it. But it's also the fruit of generations and generations of people. Like, would it be even possible to calculate how many people were contributed to this place?
I think that's quite hard to say, but for sure many people contributed. First of all, of course, the monastic community, the monks, they used to have a vision. They wanted to build a completely new monastery with buildings, with arts of a new time. So after Middle Ages, the monastic community grew, and the old monastery from Romanesque and Gothic times was too small.
So tell us, when did it start? Like, when was the beginning of this place, its history?
The monastery started in 934.
How many years ago is that?
Oh, that's in
11 more years.
Then we will have
1100 years.
High birthday. Yeah. Yes, that's true.
I'd like to walk back with you here if you take us back to Meinrad.
Yes, of course, because the monastery was founded 934, but the story of that place started even 100 years earlier with the story of a hermit, of a man who felt a call for solitude, for union with God in silence.
And he was born in Germany, right?
In southern Germany, but
near
at that
Stuttgart.
time, close, more south to Stuttgart. But at that time there was no border between Germany and Switzerland. It was one region. One region,
Political
entity, one political entity. And he came here in 835, and he came here to live in this solitude because this was called the Dark Forest. Okay.
Part of the Black Forest in Germany?
No, a different forest.
A different forest.
Also Switzerland used to have a lot of forest.
Yes. So there was nobody living in the area?
No.
So let's go outside the main door and we can see what's here today.
Okay, good. Here you can see his the place where his hermitage stood.
And how did his life finish?
His life finished quite in an awful way.
Awful way?
Because he was murdered by two robbers. He was killed. And you know, the beautiful thing is that the legend tells us that even these two last visitors were welcomed in a very good way. So he was a very hospitable man, and he even welcomed these two robbers, although he knew that they are not good people. Yeah. And so you can see now beautiful Einsiedeln, the Abbey Square.
And this was a dark forest. There was no house here when he came.
There was nothing before.
He sought the solitude to pray.
Yeah. And now we have a...
This is a big town. How many people live here, more or less?
Oh, we have about 15,000 people in the area.
15,000 people in Einsiedeln. Wow. And look at this monastery. Another feature here are the bells. I did a little recording of the bells to add into this afterwards, of the 8 o'clock bells.
Good.
This is an amazing place. And there's architecture, there's engineering, there's art, painting, maintenance. How you told me that this was burned down, or how many times was it destroyed?
In history, 5 times it was burned down.
The whole monastery?
Yes, it got many fires, and the last time there was no need because of a fire to rebuild the monastery, but there was this vision of a new time, of a new building, and so the monks they really decided to destroy the old monastery and to build a new one.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then, what year was this rebuilt?
So the monks and the workers, they started in 1704. That was the beginning of these new buildings when they laid the foundation stone of this new building.
And just tell me something about the bells. Bells are so magnificent, and these have such pealing thunder and musical also.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, do you have anything to say about bells?
Of course, the bells, they have the task to call people for
together.
Service, for the Holy Mass, but also for the prayer times. And our Abbey Church, we have all in all 12 bells, and they ring according to the different times of year, if it's a festive day, if it's a simple weekday like today. And so they are also attributing something to solemnity, and because we are here a monastery, but also a pilgrimage site with many services, the bells are ringing quite often here.
It's a beautiful thing. Even at night time, they ring. I don't know how I sleep through them, but you ring every quarter of an hour with one bell ring for each quarter, and 4 at the hour with +3.
Yeah.
Then they ring the number of the hours then twice.
Yeah, that's true. And something quite unique we have here, that we have another set of bells which ring always 5 minutes before the exact time, because they have to call the monks or to remember the monks when it is time for
The
a
scheduled
new service.
times.
Yes, and so we have always 5 minutes before this bell, and we always joke a little bit, we are Swiss monks and we want to be always on time.
No wonder they invented the clocks here, or they developed the Swiss watches, right? We should go in the other side, should we?
It doesn't
We'll
matter.
keep the order. We'll respect or it's amazing how many visitors come here. How many people come here in a year, more or less? Any idea?
We do not have exact
Statistics.
statistics. We in the monastery, we say about 500,000. The tourist office, they tell us it's for sure 1 million. So maybe something in between.
Wow, that's a lot. We actually, our best year in Magdala in 2019, before COVID, we had 250,000 visitors.
Wow, that's a
and
big
it's a new
number.
site,
Yeah.
This is very famous,
Good.
this monastery
Yeah.
with such history.
Yeah.
So I'll let you explain a little bit as we go in about the space and the decorations here, Father Philip.
Yeah, so we are entering the Abbey Church, and as you enter the church, you can see that it is quite a big church. It's 100 meters in length. If we add the upper choir, the place where we pray vigils and lauds, then we have all in all about 113 meters in length.
So it's the football field.
It's the biggest church in Switzerland.
Wow, physical space.
Physical space.
And height?
Oh, this I do not know.
Yes. And how high is it, do you know?
No.
We don't know the meters, but it's up there.
I'm very bad with numbers.
It's okay, you're doing well so far. So, good. So the style here is Baroque, right? So can you say 2 words about Baroque for people that mightn't know a lot about it?
Good. Baroque is a style that developed in Italy in 17th century. Here in Switzerland, the Baroque entered the culture a little bit later, but quite soon, because we are neighboring Italy. And so this Baroque style was the style here in Switzerland mostly in the 18th century. So we have here a very much Italian style influenced church, and this style wanted to express, the joy about our Christian faith. It wanted to praise the magnificence of God. So the buildings, the art wanted to express something of the beauty of God. This was 5 minutes. before.
Before your next
Yes.
day. What's the next item on your agenda?
No, this is not for the next time. It was just a remembering that in 5 minutes it will be
Half eight.
Half eight.
At
Yes.
8:30.
Yeah. So no hurry.
Good, good. So this is the Baroque style. Is there any famous Baroque painter here who was active?
Yes, we have two brothers, siblings. Cosmas Damian, who was the painter, and his brother Egid Quirin Azam, he made the plaster work. So they worked very well
Okay,
together.
so there's two types of Baroque decoration here. Then there's the painting and plaster work.
Yes.
Like, would you call this stucco or something else?
Yes, it's stucco.
Stucco. Maybe we can get closer to the spot that we can zoom in better and see better.
And so here we can see that all the angels or all the ornaments, they are unique. So they are not made
Copy paste.
copy paste. Yes, that's true. That's true.
And the altars are also Baroque.
The altars are Baroque. This one, for example, was the two of the two latest altars. So that's already late Baroque with more simple structure.
Oh, really? It got more simple afterwards.
Yeah, of course, because afterwards it turned into the classicistical style. So we have some developments in Baroque arts even here, because it needed quite a time to finish the work.
Right.
You know, the church was consecrated, so given over to religious service in 1735, but it took a little bit longer than to complete everything. And you can see the choir, which is in this pink color. This is already Rococo, so another type of Baroque. Rococo, and you can see how much it's almost overwhelming, the decoration over there.
Okay.
And therefore, the style, the taste of the people developed then in the more simple, classicistic style.
Now, that's not everybody's taste, Baroque. They say this is too much. Some people might say this is idolatry, this is image creation, and obviously that's a big theme that we won't be able to deal with in this conversation. But one thing that just came to me as a thought after visiting the Transport Museum yesterday, which is a totally different area of human activity and endeavor, is we don't laugh at the old train engines from 100 years ago, or the old motors or the pistons or the old airplanes they had. We might smile, but we respect the great contribution they were. And so there's a little invitation I'd like to make to all of our participants in our little live streams and our presentations from the Holy Land, that we need to open our heart to understand what people are doing and why they're doing it, because they definitely were not into idolatry.
No, it's not idolatry. And you know, we offer also other places for prayer. So if somebody has his problem with this Baroque decoration, we offer, for example, the crypt, which is a chapel from the 1980s, much simpler, much more quiet than this abbey church on busy weekends, and therefore the people can also pray here. And for prayer, you know, we do not need to look around. We are invited to close our eyes and encounter God, who is present.
I just see one detail here, that you have a camera mounted, and that's also like we started in the Holy Land with live streaming. The monks, even though they're a 1,500-year-old congregation, they adopted the live streaming technology right away to allow people to participate in the times of lockdowns. There's a feature here I'd like you to comment on, Father Philip. There's a big grill here before the sanctuary area. What's the background? Any thoughts about this? It looks like we're locked out.
That's true. We are here in the nave, which is a public space for all the faithful. The grill reminds us that here we are not only in a Marian shrine, in a public church, but it's first of all it's the Abbey Church of Einsiedeln. So it's a place of prayer for the monks.
And they're contemplatives. They
Yes,
withdraw
so
from the world.
we live a cloistered life, so we have an area which is reserved to us monks
Yes.
to be a space of silence, of contemplation,
Right.
of interacting with God. And then we have also here in this church a place which is reserved for the monks. This is the choir, and behind the grill you see the altar, and you can see
Can we
the
walk up
choir.
closer?
Yes.
Do you have a key?
From this side we cannot enter.
Is there a spot to enter?
Yeah, we can go on the other side.
Right.
And so this is the altar, the choir, the choir stalls where we have our prayers, and therefore that's something that separates us from the people. But for services, we are interacting with people. We can open the grill at 3 points, and for the liturgy of the words, the monks, the preachers, the celebrants, they go out to be closer to the people. So here we are entering the choir.
It reminds me of the temple in Jerusalem, that there was the Holy of Holies. There was the special space where only the high priest entered. So there's a little echo of that, isn't there?
It's an echo, but as you can see, we too are entering and we are showing the people. So in Christianity, we believe that there is not anymore this strict separation between the Holy of Holies, but we are invited to encounter God in Jesus Christ, who opened the veil.
So actually these doors open also from the grill, right?
Yes, I can show you. We can open here for the services. And so the people, they have access to the choir. But outside of the prayer times, outside, it's closed.
This is wonderful. I really appreciate all the explanations, Father Philip. And especially, to have this from you here, a member of the community, and you have been, how many years? 16 years?
16 years now.
16 years praying in these. Look, let's go over and sit down on one of the seats here. And you see, what do you pray here? Do you make up your own prayers, or do you pray the Psalms?
We pray the Psalms here.
The Psalms, the biblical prayer.
We have 5 times. We meet in choir. The first two times, we do not stand or sit here in the choir stalls, but we are upstairs behind the main altar painting. You can see into another space where we monks, we meet at 5:30.
5:30 in the morning.
Yes, when legionaries are still sleeping.
No, we're up. I'm up at that time.
No, so at 5:30 vigils and 7:15 lauds. And then the other times of prayer, we are praying here in the Abbey Church Choir, since we want that our praying times are public, that they are public, that the people can attend and sing with us and pray with us. So here in Einsiedeln, in this unique connection between Benedictine Monastery and Marian Shrine, people experience here a place of prayer, of worshiping God.
Beautiful.
And therefore we want to invite people to be part of this.
Now, what I also want to pick up on here is the 5 times you pray a day. This is the structure of Jewish prayer in the temple, praying the Psalms. And you're still praying the same Psalms of David
we
today.
are heirs of this beautiful, wonderful, holy tradition, yes.
And so you have monks on this side, where Father Philip was sitting down a moment ago, and monks on the other side, and they alternate in a choir chant.
The 2 verses are always split, yeah.
It's amazing. Father Philip, this has been a joy. I'm so happy that you made time in your schedule to share the wonderful treasures of Maria Einsiedeln, this amazing monastery that's almost 1100 years old. So you can also welcome guests here. We will have Father Thomas maybe talk about that later.
Yes. So hospitality is something that belongs to our Benedictine tradition as well. So Saint Benedict says that all the guests should be welcomed as Christ himself.
Oh, beautiful. And then one last thing to finish up. You're coming from an ancient tradition, and you just invented something new for pilgrims, the Meinrad Weg.
Yes, so I'm responsible for the pilgrimage office, and it's also my duty, to develop the pilgrimage also in a new way for our times. So we want to reach people coming to Einsiedeln, and so we invented bicycle pilgrimage trail called
you know,
Main.
yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so it's
If you know
a
German, you
wordplay.
have to hear this.
Meinrad means, or is the name of the founder of Einsiedeln, this first hermit who used to live here, 150 years ago. But Meinrad means also in German my bicycle, and Weg means the trail. So Meinradweg is my bicycle trail, and it's on the stations of life of Saint Meinrad, from his birthplace
Near
to
Stuttgart, in
near
Rottenburg.
Stuttgart, yes, Tübingen, and then to his monastery called Reichenau in Lake Constance, and then coming here to Einsiedeln. So you follow the steps of Saint Meinrad as you are walking, or not, you are cycling. Yes, on this Meinradweg.
We want to say goodbye, and usually my tradition doing this is to do a little selfie moment.
Okay.
So I just try and do it, even though it's not going to be easy because I can't switch the camera given the recording a video. So here we are. Thank you very much, Father Philip. Really appreciate it. And hello to everybody. And you're all welcome here. Go on the website of Einsiedeln. I'll write it also in the notes afterwards, so you can have it. And you need to develop an English-speaking website.
Yes,
English
of course. Yeah.
Little by little. Thank you very much. God bless you all.